Donald Trump has a long history of numbers he doesn't care for. And what about his number two, J.D. Vance? Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Center Lane, a political discussion for those of us middle. Well, you probably already heard that Donald Trump last week fired the lady that was responsible for giving him labor numbers that he did not agree with. Of course, he called them fake, he called them phony, and that's that, because they weren't favorable and they weren't in his favor. Well, that's life, man. Numbers don't lie, right? So, problem is, Donald Trump has always had that kind of an issue where he doesn't like numbers that don't shine favorably on him. I'll give you some examples. 2017, the crowd size. What the heck? This is the biggest crowd ever. No, it wasn't. Obama's was bigger, but who cares? Nobody cares but him, right? Sean Spicer, his White House spokesperson, the poor guy had to go up there and show pictures and had to back this story that his boss was telling him to back. And I felt bad for the guy, I really did, because his crowd wasn't as big as Obama's. Who cares? What about a month or so later, not even a month, a couple days later, he goes, "Oh, Hillary Clinton, no way she beat me." This is in 2016. "No way she got that many more votes than me in California. They were rigged. There's 3 million illegal immigrants voting over there. I want a full investigation." So he drags us all out to California, spends millions of dollars to find out that maybe 5 or 6 people total voted, illegally. So that was another waste of time. But he didn't like those numbers. Made him look bad. He wasn't, but it's not for him. How about during COVID? He did a great job with COVID at first. He got the vaccine going right away. He made the tough choices to shut things down. We didn't know what that virus was, okay? Now we know more about it. But at the time, we had no idea. And look, there's been viruses and things in the past of mankind that has been very detrimental to us if we didn't work on them. For example, the Black Plague killed 1/3 of the population in 1383. It was the whole world's population. So you had to take these things seriously, and he did. But then, of course, when the economy started to tank after it, which normally it would, he started, in some of his followers, saying, "No, I'm not taking the vaccine. It's a hoax." So he started suggesting that nobody gets tested anymore, and it'll all go away because the numbers are just lying to us. Okay, that's not true. We know that. But anyways, that's another example of when he did not, accept the numbers. And of course, who can forget 2020 when he said the entire election was stolen from him, rigged? No serious proof of that. Very little, if any, kind of shenanigans going on. And when they did find out any shenanigans, just as many people double voted for Republicans as they did Democrats. It was a wash. Okay, so there was nothing to it. Now, he did come back and win in 2024, but he still to this day says it's the 3rd time he won his election, and that's just not true. So there we are now with the labor numbers. We've got GDP numbers down the first 6 months at only 1.2%. He's not going to like that number. Not going to like that number. The tariffs haven't. We'll see what the tariffs do. In his defense, they haven't completely tanked the economy yet. But let's see what happens. We're not there yet with that. So again, there's another thing where he's going to want these numbers to make him. He's telling us the economy's red hot, but I don't know. I just went to the grocery store today, and I'm like, oh my God, prices are going up. I'm sorry, they just are. Where they would or would out without him, who knows? But if you want to take all the glory, you got to take the pain too, and he's not willing to do that. Last but not least, I just want to talk about J.D. Vance real quick. He seems to be somebody who's almost waiting in the wings for something bad to happen to Trump. The Epstein thing is sucking Trump down. There's immigration and the big beautiful bill. There's a lot of things that that are not working in Trump's favor at the time. And J.D. Vance is being a good soldier, but how did J.D. Vance even become vice president in the first place? I mean, he had no experience. He's from a state in Ohio, which was already in the bag for the Republicans. He didn't need the votes from that state. Like normally they'll get a VP that carries the South or carries Marco Rubio, maybe carries some of the Hispanic vote, things of that nature. J.D. Vance had really nothing to offer there. What he did have to offer is a lot of money. Elon Musk, Peter Thrall, these tech bro guys out there with billionaires, what Elon Musk did, $250 million to Trump's political campaign 24, which got him over the finish line. So you've got to wonder, I hate to start another conspiracy, but I got to think that J.D. Vance is really, and the people that put him there are really looking for some daylight where maybe their boy, J.D. Vance, is going to be in the captain's seat, maybe sooner than later. Now, of course, a lot of things have to happen for that. And a lot of things could happen, obviously, because we don't know the future. But you have to wonder yourself that J.D. Vance, how loyal really is he? Get Laura Loomer over there, Trump. She's digging everybody else out, right? And you're making decisions based on this woman who's a conspiracy theorist, 9/11 denier, and all this and that. So that's another whole podcast. But the point is, maybe there is something to J.D. Vance. Not so much that he'd be conspiring against Trump. I don't think he'd be doing that. But he definitely is kind of letting things flow. They're going to flow, and he's, doing the minimal Look, my boss, he's completely innocent, but it has to make you wonder a little bit why JD Vance is there in the first place. And against every time you ask those kind of questions, it always goes back to money. Hey, thanks so much for your attention. Thanks so much for the comments. I appreciate it. If you're watching me on TikTok, I'm on there every day. I'm on YouTube most days as well. I really appreciate those comments and those people that are following me. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I will talk to you soon.